So welcome everybody to our Tuesday night Redox talk. I'd like to welcome you to our call. My name is Sally Dymond. I am an ASEA double diamond, which just means I've helped a lot of people. I've been dealing with these products for about 3.5 years now. And tonight we have a very special guest, Karen, and she's going to share her story with us in a little bit. So before we get started, I want to just invite you to think about a few questions to get in touch with what you may be looking for in your life. And when someone asks you how you are, we quite often just say, yeah, we're good, we're great. I want you to sit there and just think for a minute about how you really are. When you go deep down within your body and you ask that question, how am I really feeling? What comes up? Is it something that you've got a health challenge you're dealing with? Is there some mystery symptom that you're dealing with? Is there some mystery illness that you're not quite sure what's going on with your body? Your doctor doesn't really know what's going on. The blood tests are showing normal, but you're just not feeling normal. Have you got some signs of aging that are starting to pop up that you're not really happy about? Some signs in your body, in your joints? Do you need more energy? I know we could all do with a little bit more energy. Is it that you're looking to do an event, you're an athlete, or you were an athlete and you want to get back to being an athlete again? You just need better performance in your job or in your life. You've got kids that might be struggling with learning disorders. There's lots of different things that come up when we ask someone, how are they? Or how is their family? Or, how is their health? So to live really well, we really need two basic things. We need a body that can do whatever you ask it to do, and we need enough money to ask it to do some of the great things and maybe to pay for some of the things that we want to do, we need to do, or that we have to do to maintain our body. Our body is really our own house. It's the house that we live in. We can't replace this house. So when something breaks or it doesn't work, we really need to invest in ourselves and our body and our health, probably more than we need to invest in our bricks and mortar and the things that we have around us. So I want you to just consider some of those things as we talk tonight, and you'll hear about what Karen's been through with her husband and her journey. And, if you're struggling with something, I always say to people, you have to stop doing what you're doing and change something to get a different result. If you keep doing the same thing, then we're always going to get the same result. So to have that great body, we might be exercising, you might be watching your diet, you might be taking nutritional supplements, you might be doing everything that you can think of, but it's still not enough. You still can't get that perfect health. Or when someone asks you, how am I? How do you get that I feel great, I feel vibrant kind of thing? So when I was introduced to ASEA, people would ask how I was, and I was pretty good. I take good care of myself. But when I really started to embrace these products, that's when I can really say, I feel great. My skin's cleared up. I have energy. I'm back to sport. I'm back to life. I still work way too much, but I've got the energy at the end of the week that I can get on and have fun with my family and go and do some crazy things. So no matter what you do, you're aging, your body's getting older, your cells are getting older. You respond less effectively to some of these strategies that you might already been doing. Your cells are naturally breaking down, and we're producing energy less efficiently, and we're repairing on a much slower scale the older that we get. Because as we start to age, at about 40, the ability of our body to heal and repair declines by about 50%. So what we're talking about tonight is redox molecules. ASEA's main ingredient is redox molecules. It comes in two products. We're talking about a gel and a liquid. And when we replenish our body's supply of these redox molecules, our body has the ability to heal and repair much faster, because it's helping our cells be more efficient. It's helping when we exercise for our body to utilize what's already within it, so that we're like a well-oiled machine, let's just say. So when we start to take these products, we're actually replenishing what's already in our body that's diminishing. So when I say redox, your body is making redox molecules. As a child, lots of them, trillions and trillions of cells we have in our body, and our body is producing lots of these healthy redox molecules. But at about 40, when I said our health declines, our number of these molecules within our cells declines by 50%. That's why we start to feel and age and look like we're starting to get wrinkles. Our energy starts to decline, our eyes go. So if we had the ability to top up our cells with these redox molecules, wouldn't that be fantastic? And that's exactly what ASEA did. They replicated exactly these redox molecules outside of our body so that we can replenish them so that when we're 40, and thankfully that's when I started to use them, when I was 41, we can start topping up. So we actually start to act, look, and feel like we did when we were 20 or 30. If you're suffering from some kind of serious problem, then you're topping up the body's ability to heal and repair. So several years ago, when the scientists made this groundbreaking discovery, they identified these molecules and they were able to replicate them. So it's taken years of research, years of development. They're fully patented. There is a science behind it. You can go in, and hopefully the person that's invited you here tonight has sent you some information that you can dig deeper into the science and exactly how this works. But if you go to asiascience.com, you'll see that there's many studies and there's many research papers that have been produced on this, or on PubMed. People have been studying these redox molecules for decades. So it's not a new science. It's been around for a long time. But ASEA is the only company in the world to have stabilized these molecules outside the body so that we can replenish them inside our body. So when you start to exercise and when you start to move, when your body and your cells become alive, when they start to signal and communicate the right messages through the body, we have the ability. It's like we've switched on. We've switched on our memory. We've switched on our sleep button. We've slipped on our active button when we want to get busy and be active. We've switched on our mental clarity. So these are all the things that people start to report when you start to use these products and we replenish the redox at that cellular level. Everything starts to work better. So if you're taking nutritional supplements, which I do recommend, if you're having treatments, alternate treatments, all of these things you continue to do, when you plug in and you get the cells to communicate and signal, all of these things that you're doing are actually amplified and they start to work much better. So right now I'm going to introduce, are we still here? Hopefully we're still here. Oh, good. I thought that we'd all just gone off for a minute there. I'm going to introduce our special guest, Karen. And Karen, I actually met in Mackay. So when I do my trips to Mackay, it's always super fun. Karen is not in my team. She is one of the Mackay crew, and she has the most amazing story. I get goosebumps every time I hear her tell it. I got to spend a little bit of time with Karen and her husband, Peter, at the last trip that I was there and had dinner with them. And we laughed till we cried. So hopefully you're going to get the same goosebumps that I always get. I've already got them just thinking about it. I have some photos and some slides here that I am going to share my screen and show you. So without further ado, I'm going to say hi and welcome to Karen, and I'll just unmute Karen so she can say hello to us while I do this.
Hi, Sally.
Hi, Karen. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, you're welcome. Hi, everybody. How are you?
All right. So, Karen, can you give us a little rundown on the very beginning of when this all started for you, when you were first told that there was something not right, or you were, asking Peter one day, how are you? And some of the things that he might have started to say to you.
Well, he didn't really say anything to me. It started 8 years ago, actually, when he had his first bit of trouble where he went through 4 lots of different surgeries, and they said that he was okay. But then in November of 2016, he didn't tell me anything about it, but he had developed what he thought was an ulcer under his tongue, which turned out to be something really horrible. He went off and he had it all checked himself. Still didn't know anything about it. And then the doctor rang later that week and said that what Peter had, it was a serious cell dividing condition and he needed to get to Brisbane immediately, which is what we did. When we got to Brisbane, we saw 2 different lots of specialists. He underwent one operation where they removed a good half of his tongue and 40 nodes in the neck from the bottom of the ear to his thyroid gland. And they came back with the diagnosis that it had penetrated 2 of the nodes at the top, but it was so microscopic that they thought it was okay. But when they sent 2 weeks later, we got another phone call from the doctor again saying that that wasn't correct, that Peter had to come back. He had to have another lot of surgery as the nerve in the back of the tongue had been infiltrated. So we went back, they performed another procedure, And then they said they would give him some radiation. So we went off and had the radiation, but during radiation, the condition became a terminal condition. We were left with nothing. We were down in Brisbane. We had nothing. We had virtually, it was just, we can give you an immunotherapy, which he did take, and this will buy you time, but there is no cure for you. There's nothing we can do. So after we got through the shock of all of this, and I rang the family back home, I told them all about it. A couple of weeks later, I just said, well, I don't think this is going to happen. We're not going to let this happen. We have to do something. And it was just by chance that here in Mackay, I had to have something done. Walked out of the building, and there was a girl there that I hadn't seen for probably 10 years, and said, look, I put Mum onto this stuff that I've heard about, and I think it might help Peter. How is he? And I just cried and said, look, it's terrible. There's nothing they can do for him, but I'll come back and talk to you. Well, I went back and I spoke to her, and it was about the redox molecules. I walked out of the building. I still didn't know what redox molecules were, had never heard of them, had no idea. Walked out, got in the car, and turned around and I said to Peter, I said, you're going to start taking these redox molecules. And he looked at me really silly, and he just sort of said to me, well, what else are you going to make me take? Because I'd changed everything. I'd changed the diet. I took all his alcohol away. I'd done so many different things, because I thought, well, and research, you just research. So anyway, she went ahead and she ordered it for me with no research here, Sally. We hadn't done a thing. We were at a point of no return, so we just said, if we don't do something, he's going to die. So there's got to be something. And if there's anything in something that gives you, when you're in this position, one little opening of hope, you jump at it. So you take it. So on the 9th of June of 2017, Peter started his immuno in May. But on the 9th of June, Brenda Berry came along and drove into Brisbane to where we were staying and bought Peter his first bottle of Redox. And from that day to this day, Peter has taken one full bottle per day, plus he uses that gel consistently. I don't know how many times a day he does it, but he's always in there rubbing his head and his neck, and it's just something that he just does now. So in March this year, we started in June, 9th of June 2016, and on the 19th of March this year, we went down after Peter's had a total of 14 of the immunotherapy sessions, which should have created major health issues for him along the way with regards to his major organs. He got told by his oncologist that, hey, this is good. This is really good. We walked out of there and Peter rang that bell. He rang that bell that says, you can ring this bell when you've conquered this. And he rang that bell as he left the building that day. And we've had one more follow-up scan, which was in June, because he's being washed, as you can see what Sally's just put up here. The top one up there with that big red thing that looks like the apple, that is the condition that he had when we went down. And you can see down further there's an eliminated dot, yellow dot. That is the lymph nodes, where it had already got into lymph nodes elsewhere in his body. Then you come down to the bottom one, the big one down the bottom here. That was in a 6-month period of time. There is one in between that. But this is a 6-month period. And then you go up to the top there, and that was on the 19th of March this year. And you can see where Sally's pointing to that green area there. That was what was that really horrible, radical, terrible thing that we had to deal with. But it's gone from that in 6 months. Now she's jumped into where we're using the gel. First one here, this major one, which is ugly, and I know everybody's going to, sometimes that's hard to look at. That is where they actually took his skin grafting from to cover over part of his ear that he's lost. This is the 5th go that they've had at this. If we had photos of his leg, you'd see his leg, he's got like racing stripes up his leg where they've taken the grafts of his legs on prior occasions. but they took that off his head and they placed it over this area down here in the centre, not that one, sorry, the next one over here. That's after it started to heal, but you'll notice again that since that first one to this one, that second area where she's got her arrow is another skin flap that they've had to take. And this is the top one. This is another one, major one that he's had on the side of his head. I have got a photo of that, but I didn't give it to you. Sorry. But the top one is now what we're looking at. So from the bottom one to the top one, you can see the difference that the gel has made. That bottom one, he has a really large ridge, quite deep. It's probably a good, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch probably. That 2 or 3 mil that sticks up and it's dug in. The top one now, it's pretty flat. It's taken away the horrible, well, you can see the hole in the bottom one. That's completely gone, that area, yeah, that's completely gone. The ridging is gone. That's pretty flat. It's changed the whole look of the whole head. It's just brought it all back out again. It won't bring out the concaved area, but it's certainly changed the scarring and the horror that we went through. So
and it feels amazing. You know, I always love to play with a bald man's head, and touching Peter's head was like...
It does. It's very smooth.
It's really, really... So they talk about how Renew 28 increases the skin elasticity. This is it in the flesh, improved.
He's going to poke his nose in here.
Hello, everyone.
Where are you, Peter?
I just had to go and have a shower. I couldn't come on TV without having a shower.
This is a man that was supposed to be gone at Christmas time. He's so healthy. He's extremely healthy now. He's well. We go back again in September. We'll have another checkup, but only for the Redox. So we wouldn't be here today. We'd be.
I'll try and turn the side onto you so you can see what's there now. Where are we? I can't see.
Yeah,
just turn around there, Pete. Oh, there we go.
But no,
not the top of your head, the side. There we go. No, lean forward a little bit. No, forward.
I just want to see that. Come up and go back.
Oh, hang on, Sally.
There you go, there.
Hang on, sir, mate. I'm in a bad position here.
Oh, come sit on my lap. He's going to sit on my lap. I'm not sitting on his.
How's that?
No, down. Go down a bit.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Here we are. Here. Smooth as smooth. There's no ridging. There's nothing stuck in here. It's just smooth. So, yeah, what a difference. And the side of his neck, you can't even see. Where he's had all that surgery, you can't even see that anymore. Where they cut him from the top to the bottom, that's completely gone.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But, he's going great. He's going really, really well.
Thanks.
Great.
I'll move on now. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. It's great to see you.
Bye-bye.
See you.
He doesn't get any sympathy anymore. He never got any sympathy. He got less now. But yeah, no, he's going good. And as I say, only for running into Meryl and then Brenda coming in, this would have been, I think, I'm sure it would have been a totally different story. And Peter was really, really ill. Like, I brought all the kids down in April. He was that week, he was on the last thing. They'd given him morphine. His pain was so severe. He couldn't eat. He couldn't talk. He couldn't move. You were sort of practically at the stage of bathing and dressing him. You were lucky if he got out of bed because he had no strength. He was so weak. And I honestly thought the only way I was going to bring him home was the wrong way.
Oops, hang on. I just muted you. Karen, unmute yourself. I unmuted. Where are you? There you go.
All right again?
Yep.
Okay, yes. We didn't think we were going to get him home here to Mackay, and then once we started the molecules, it was within a month. So he was. You could see his strength was back. His colour was changing. He was wanting to have a conversation, and within a matter of about 9 weeks, he was out mowing the lawn.
Wow.
He was out doing things. So.
And when you first started him on it, how much did you start him on to start with?
Oh, the whole bottle. I just said drink the bottle, so he drank the bottle. He had no choice. Drink. We made him drink, so yeah, we drank. He just drank.
Did he experience any detox symptoms?
He actually did. We didn't know what it was. We really didn't know what it was. He was in so much pain anyway, so like he constantly had a major headache. But there was this one day he came outside and he said to me, Karen, what's wrong with my back? And I said, oh, I don't know. And he lifted his shirt up and he was just rashed, completely rashed. He had these red spots, little red spots, like he had the German measles, covered. He was just covered in spots.
Were they itchy?
Well, they weren't really, they weren't really itchy. It was like a prickly head all over him, completely all over him. And then that went away. It just went away. But that was when he first started to take it. It was, but you know, he may have had other things, but we wouldn't have been able to pick it up because he was in so much trouble everywhere else anyway. So, but the rash was an evident and visual. We could see the rash on him. So, and it was nothing else. It was just his body, I'd say, detoxing. And he's actually telling me now that it tastes like water. He's telling me now that it doesn't have any taste. It's like he's just drinking water. So.
And when you first started, Peter, what did it taste like?
It was like pool chlorine. It just tastes like pool chlorine.
And did you turn your nose up and kind of go, this tastes horrible?
First up, yeah, but I knew I had to take it because we found out how good it was. That's not a sales pitch either, but it was tasted bloody awful. But now it's just like drinking water. There's no taste whatsoever.
Okay, that's how it should be. When your body is healthy, you should not experience any taste. So I generally say to people, if they experience some kind of a taste, it means that their body chemistry is actually out of balance. And as their body chemistry comes back into balance, their taste then should just be like water, with no adverse, making faces and burning or anything that goes on.
Not at all.
Well, what are we? We're 13 months now, so that he's been drinking it. And I used to ring Brenda and I'd watch these Zooms like all you people are watching now. And, with Peter, and I'd say to Brenda, why hasn't Peter's gone? Because, you see people put up all the time that, oh, I had this condition and then we went back for 3 months later and that condition's gone. We don't have that problem anymore. And we were going back and we weren't getting that result. So I was starting to think, what's going on here? We believed the whole way through that it was only the Redox that was helping him while he was having this other horrible chemical treatment that helped him through with his major organs, that they didn't get affected or he didn't get sick with the treatment. But couldn't understand why it wouldn't go when everybody else was saying theirs was gone. But it's like everything, I think. We all have to realise that if we've got something really wrong with us or if we've got an issue, everybody's different. It takes a different amount of time. You just have to persist. Yeah. And if you persist, you'll get the result at the end. So, and Peter's not going to go off that bottle. He will drink a bottle a day for at least another 12 months before we even think about bringing it back down again. So if it's a really serious major condition, the more you drink, the better you are, I think. So I'm going to continue the way we're going. We're happy with what's going on now, and he's very healthy. So
we have a question here that's come up that says, how did the doctors react to you doing this during therapy?
Oh, that's easy. We didn't tell them.
Okay.
We didn't tell them because we had gone away and we had bought a heap of marijuana for Peter, something that I thought I would never do. And I think I told you that. Here we are sitting in my house with a cupboard full of marijuana. And I said, in my life, I never thought I'd buy a bottle. Then I brought it home on a plane and thought it was in the back of a ute. And now I had it all on me. So if the dog or anybody had got me, we'd be in trouble. But the doctor, when we told him about the marijuana, said, oh, my goodness, you must stop that because you're going to kill him. It's going to interfere with my treatment. You can't do that. So we said nothing. We just stayed very, very quiet. And I have heard in the last week of 2 people who are going through some treatment that have mentioned that word to the doctor and they've been told they must stop it immediately. Yeah, that is not a truth. That is not a truth. You need it. You need the Redox to get your body through the treatment you're going to have to build your body back up.
So when the doctors told him to ring the bell, did you tell them afterwards what you'd been doing?
Yes, we did. We did. And they sort of said, oh, what's that? Well, I believe they know what it is. It's the same as when I told them about the diet. I said, what do you think about the alkaline diet? What do you think about taking the sugar out of the diet? Because sugar's bad for anybody anyway. And the answer I simply got was that, we haven't done any trials. So we'd have to get a couple of hundred people, and it would take 2 years to get a verdict on whether changing a diet with certain conditions makes a difference or not. So you just don't, or we just didn't tell him. But they could never work out why Peter wasn't going backwards. He was always going forwards. His bloods were getting better. His organs weren't suffering. Nothing was hurting him, even when he had the anaesthetic. Yes. And you must have a 24-hour period between having anaesthetic and having your treatments, because your liver and your kidneys can't take that because there's too many drugs, too many heavy drugs. What happened with Peter? He didn't go down till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He was back at 4:30 on that afternoon. They came in at 5 the very next morning and took his bloods, and he got his treatment at 9 o'clock because his kidneys and his liver and everything were pristine. We don't understand. We don't know why this is happening. But gee, you're doing well, Pete. You're going really good. You know, it's just, sometimes I think you have to do what you feel in your heart you have to do. You can't be guided. You can be guided in a certain area by the medical profession, but I think there's certain things that you have to do that you feel is right. And if you feel it's right, you run with that feeling. You just do it.
Absolutely.
You know,
Amazing story. So, Peter, have you got any final words for people that might be watching this, that might be stuck in that? I know people often say when you've got a condition, no matter what stage it is, and particularly if it's terminal, everyone comes at you with something that they think might help them. What was it about, what was it, Meryl? What was it that Meryl said to you that made you go, you know, this is more than just hope?
We had nowhere else to go, Sally. It was one of those things that it was just sheer chance that Karen came across Meryl, and I lisped a lot because I got a fair bit of my tongue taken away. But
you still sound fantastic to me.
Thanks, mate. But it was just belief, and first up, I was skeptical. I going, you know, this is another, just something. Yeah,
like you just said, people put things in front of you, and people are only trying to help you. They're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to help you. They understand your situation. They understand the suffering that everybody that is very attached to them is going through, and they've heard of somebody else that's done this, or they've done that, or done something else. You must try, you know, and you do. You start to grasp at straws because you have nowhere to go. The doctors come to you and said you're going to die. Well,
that wasn't an option. Not for Karen.
Not for them.
No.
I know that.
There's got to be something about me if she loves love.
Well, it wasn't an option, and I mean people that have got partners and things like that, and this is Peter's is a terminal case, but there'll be people out there that have got that, like you say, the heart disease and the diabetes and all that sort of stuff. You know, what I say to people that come to me now is, you've got nothing to lose, but by gee, you've got a lot to gain. And it's not affecting my health. This is your health. So you can either try it and see, and if you don't feel you're getting the benefit, you don't have to do it. But try it. If you're getting the benefit, you'll stick to it. Now, I've had all these people who have come to me, and I so far, I haven't had one that's backed out because they've all felt some sort of a change in whatever they've come to take the ASEA for.
Can I say one thing, Sally?
Of course.
The most important thing is to take it properly and consistently. You can't just take it today, miss it tomorrow, take it in 2 days' time. You've got to. It's one of those products. It works, but you've got to do it in the right manner.
Very, very good advice. It's like trying to cook popcorn. I think the analogy's been made before, where you can put it in for 10 seconds, leave it, put it in for 10 seconds, leave it for a day. That doesn't make popcorn. You know, when you do something, the right recipe, the right way, we know what the result is. So
Exactly.
Find your dose, find what the right dose for you is. And if you're taking it and you're not getting a result, you need to increase your dose. And I'm not saying you need to stay on a huge dose for a long period of time. Once your health regains, you know, Peter's in a totally different situation to 90% of us on the call here, where he had nowhere else to go and his cells were almost empty. So without redox, we're dead. That's pretty much the basic analogy here. At 40, our cells diminish by about 50% and we start to struggle, but we just limber on and we linger and we kind of limp along, you know, with no energy, and we're tired and we're exhausted. You know, we're just getting along. And then all of a sudden that redox drops another level and now our systems and our organs are struggling. When they drop another level, we're at some staged conditions where we're at hospital and we've got some serious decisions to make about changing things. A lot of people don't change anything. They just do what the doctor says, which is treatment and surgery. And you know, the body needs things to be able to heal and recover from these treatments and surgeries. I'm not saying they're not necessary. They are necessary in some cases, but you need to have something that supports your body and boosts your immune system and stimulates your body's ability to heal and repair. And I believe that's what the redox is doing, is it stimulates your own body to heal, repair, and regenerate. And that's what your body is designed to do. It's designed to heal. It just needs the right ingredients in the right amount of time. So an old naturopathic philosophy is that for every condition, if you've had the condition for 1 year, it's going to take at least 1 month of consistent effort to try and heal that condition. So in my practice, I'll see people that have had a bad back or they just haven't felt right for 20 years. Now, 20 years equals 20 months of consistent action every day, non-stop. So, you know, when you're looking at people that have been sick for a really long time, and when you ask yourself, how am I? And if you can't really answer that question, you say, well, for 20 years, I've really felt a bit off, or I know there's been something not right in my bloods or my body, then it's going to take more than 1 bottle or 4 bottles or 10 bottles to actually get right. And you need the exercise, and you need to drink water, and you need to change your diet, and you need to look at your lifestyle and your emotional, you know, happiness and all of those other things that are going on in your life, because just adding one thing is one piece of the puzzle. You heard Karen say they eliminated sugar and alcohol and all sorts of things. It was a whole life change of what had to occur. And, you know, they've been very successful business people, and you can have everything that you ever want in the world, but if you don't have your health, then what is it? What is it worth? You're not worth anything to anyone.
Zero.
And it all comes down to emotional stress too, Sally, doesn't it? Because, you know, no matter what you've got and what you're suffering with, your emotions and your feelings while you're trying to deal with it is something else that is also attacking your body. And I know it's very, very hard to say, oh, well, you know, I've got this, but I'm going to be okay, especially when you're classified as a terminal patient. You know, that's very hard to put out of your head. The doctor said, I'm going to die. How do you get rid of that? And how does the body deal? Because you're loading it up with all this stress, and stress would be one of the worst things in the world for anyone, let alone, you know, being told something like that, or if you've got a major disease that's going on in your body, your emotion. And that's what I used to say, you know, I never let Peter sit around and mope. I used to say to him, no, you can't do that. I probably was really, really hard on him. But I felt if I didn't, then we were going to lose, because he couldn't afford to sit there and dwell on things. He had to be motivated. He had to be, you know, and I'm saying to everybody, if you can tell yourself when you take this ASEA, is what I say now is that to my people, you drink the molecules, you take your ASEA in the morning. Okay, we've got, you know, you've got this problem wrong with you, but you've taken your ASEA, you've put in the army, it's going out to fight, and you're going to win. You'll beat it. It's in there, it's charging, it's doing what it's got to do. So the enemy's going to be defeated. You have put in the supplies, you've put in your army, and go away with the thought that every day once you've drunk it, I'm going to win this because I've got something working for me. And if you can do that and think about it and try and put the negativity out, the negativity is one of the biggest killers. You've got to get rid of that negative. It's a wonder I didn't kill myself, because I went through all the negatives. It's a wonder I didn't get sick, because just the stress of everything was really horrible. It was, you know, because you're looking after him, but you forget to look after yourself. You know, you're cooking all these special meals and you're cleaning the house out of all the chemicals, and, you know, you're worrying about the air he's breathing in. And so it becomes, it's all consuming. It just chews you up. And you Absolutely. Have to have that emotional thing there that, no. So to anybody out there that is struggling with anything, your emotional power, I think, is one of your major things. You have to, your redox will do its job, but if you keep loading things in on top of it, it's got to get past that before it can get in to do what it's got to do. So you really have to work at all different angles with it, and I think the emotions and the feelings are one of the top ones.
Absolutely, 100% I agree. So I think that's all the questions we have. Our last comment here is, Karen, you are a lady of great courage. Your determination to see Peter well is extraordinary. Bless you, amazing lady. I couldn't agree more, Karen, having been through this journey myself, said Jackie. So, you know, all I can say is I love you guys. I love coming to Mackay to see you. I love laughing with you. More stories. They're a fantastic couple, a great inspiration to many that are suffering out there that don't need to be suffering. It's hope, faith, and love, and Asiya. That's what I say. So, you know, if you know someone that's in a position that this story might help, there will be a recording and you can share it. Peter will be so happy he had a shower because his face will go around the world now. And thank you, Peter. I don't know if we have any other questions there, but we
I've
just...
got something for you, Sal.
What is that, Peter?
I'm going to renew with Renew. I'm putting it on right now as I talk to you.
See, Peter's like my husband. You can never find a tube.
Throw the nut, mate.
You can never find a tube because the men are always stealing it and rubbing it all over themselves.
And as I said to you, Sally, it doesn't take the wrinkles out of everything.
On that note,
time for me to go.
But you never told me to try it either.
Thank you so much, Karen. On that note, you have to say Asiya is not a cure. It's not intended for medical diagnosis. It is there to help support your cells, your body, your tissues, and your organs to be the best they can be so that your body can heal, repair, and regenerate just like we were designed to do. So on that note, I'm going to love and leave you guys.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Enjoy rubbing that gel in, Peter. We'll
I'm still rubbing.
talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.